Hi, this week our topic is suffering. Now, this is a bit odd to have for a topic. First, personally, I do not like suffering and I try to avoid it. So why would I want to talk about it? And second, most people think that math is a difficult subject and they've likely struggled with it. But do we really suffer when we do math? Okay, with that said, I do believe people have suffered in the past doing math. Now, there are some interesting stories of how math has arrived here, and some people have paid a heavy price for it. So, as much as I hate to admit it, I do learn more from my sufferings than from my successes. So let's take a week and see if there's something meaningful that we can glean from how suffering has impacted the math we know today. Most of us have an unspoken expectation of math. Every problem has an answer, and every answer can be written down. Now, math may be difficult, but it is orderly. If we work long enough and carefully enough, eventually everything should fit. However, the ancient Greeks had a particularly orderly understanding of number. They believed that any length could be expressed as a ratio of whole numbers, a fraction. Then consider a square whose sides have length 1. By the Pythagorean theorem, the diagonal has length square root of 2. So what fraction is that? Well, suppose square root 2 can be expressed as a fraction a over b that is reduced to the lowest terms. Well, then if we square both sides, that gives us a squared equals 2 times b squared. So a squared is even, which means a must also be even. So write a to equal 2k. And then if we substitute, that gives us 4 times k squared equals 2 times b squared, or b squared equals 2 times k squared. Well, now b must be even as well. But if both a and b are even, well, then the fraction was not reduced to lowest terms, and we have reached a contradiction. So if you could not follow all that, the bottom line is no such fraction exists. Well, this discovery did not mean mathematics had failed, but it meant that it had an existing idea of number that was too small. The difficulty was not a dead end, but it was evidence that a larger understanding was needed. Numbers now had to include quantities that could not be written as fractions. We call them the irrational numbers. Well, this gives us a way to begin to think about suffering. There is an author called Arthur Brooks, and he asks whether suffering is a bug or a feature to a meaningful life. Now, we should probably answer this carefully. Not every pain is useful, and suffering should never be manufactured or even romanticized. Yet, discomfort can sometimes tell us that our present understanding is not adequate. Something does not fit, and we must decide whether to give up or force it into an old category or allow our view to expand. And the discovery of square root 2 created a crisis, but the crisis revealed a bigger mathematical world. Our own struggles can sometimes do something similar. They may expose a belief that is too narrow, or an expectation that cannot hold, or a need that we had not recognized. So today we consider a time when you thought this is not supposed to happen. Did the experience mean that everything had failed, or did it invite you into a larger understanding? Sometimes the numbers do not work because we make a mistake, but sometimes they do not work because the world is bigger than the numbers that we have.